In this episode, we upgrade our anchor and chain, refurbish an old water maker that came with the boat, and do some other final jobs ready for launch day. Last season we used a 20 kilo Bruce anchor that came with the boat, along with 80 metres of very rusty chain. The anchor wasn't a genuine Bruce but was a knockoff made in China. It had held us through rough conditions as we always made sure it was set correctly, or we'd re-anchor or move anchorage. We knew there were much better performing anchors out there though, and it seemed like a good investment for the safety of the boat given the amount of time we spend at anchor. We did lots of research to try and find the anchor most suited to our boat, plans and budget. We wanted an anchor that would perform well in a range of seabeds, would fit on our bow and was no more than €1,000. We found the blogs on Morgan's Cloud really useful, especially their online book on anchoring. There's also a great YouTube channel called SV Panapay that independently tests anchors and ranks their performance. Here's his thoughts on our old Bruce anchor.
Here's a look at the latest 20-pound range anchor ranking chart. We see the 21-pound Bruce ended up right near the bottom of the chart. It's obviously a little better than the Lumar Claw, but its numbers are really quite low.
There are so many different anchors out there, ranging from very cheap to very expensive. As we were in the boatyard, we were able to walk around and look at other people's anchors. One of the more popular anchors was the Rocna Original. We liked the story of how they were invented by an experienced cruiser from New Zealand. We were quoted €840 for the 25 kilo size, which was within our price range. On doing further research though, it seemed there were some concerns about their performance compared to more recent anchor designs.
So that second set, it was the same story, and same with the third here. The anchor releases each time, drags considerably, and only resets after boat speed is allowed to decay. We can see the anchor roll bar there, and the anchor is at least partially on its side during these drags. My presumption was that it's like the Manson Supreme, is that when this anchor gets fouled with seabed, it just has trouble resetting.
We saw this issue firsthand when a sailor with another roll bar style anchor couldn't get it to reset because it was clogged with seaweed and mud. He was by himself, so people from another boat helped him clear it. We considered some other options and came across the Spade. It seemed to have good all-round performance and was within our price range. It has a lead tip which is 50% of the anchor's total weight. This helps it land the right way up and set and reset quickly. Unfortunately, due to the lead tip, it would be difficult to regalvanise in the future. We also didn't like that it bolted together because it could be a point of failure. It could be handy for storing the anchor, but we'd be keeping it on our bow anyway. After researching further though, we were happy with the strength of the design as the bolt isn't under pressure. The Spade S100's overall performance was ranked highly by SV Panapay and was up there with some of the much more expensive anchors.
The steel Spade, boy, you just can't get it to go anywhere. You can drag and yank it as much as you want and nothing happens. Very similar result. Stops the boat immediately. That one right there, boy, it flipped out and reset just right now. So it's a very, very good performance. Does come up with lots of mud on it, and unlike other anchors that foul terribly with mud and then don't reset, it doesn't seem to matter. It just gets the job done.
Rocna also makes the Vulcan anchor, which seems to have good all-round performance, is one piece, easy to regalvanise compared to the Spade, and was a similar price. The tip isn't as heavy as the Spade though because it's not lead. The Vulcan has a weight to tip ratio of 38% compared to the Spade's 50%. It was also marketed for motorboats that can't fit the roll bar of the Rocna Original on their bow, which made us question whether it was suitable for us. This does just seem to be a marketing strategy by Rocna though. The Vulcan wasn't available in stock on Leros anyway, and we liked the higher weight to tip ratio of the Spade, so the Spade was still ahead. We also considered the new Rocna Mark II, which seems to improve on the Rocna Original by having a cutting edge on the roll bar to reduce clogging, and more weight in the tip. The build quality also sounded great. We didn't like that it still had a roll bar though, and it was extremely expensive at €1,800, almost double the price of a Spade. Price also ruled out Excel and Mantis anchors for us. They were just way too expensive. We measured up a Spade in the boatyard to see if it would fit our bow. This was a 20 kilo model and we'd be getting the next size up, but it gave us a rough idea and it seemed to fit well without having to modify our bow roller. The 20-kilo anchor would have been suitable for our boat according to the size charts, but we decided to go one size up to 25 kilos for extra holding power. We bought the Spade from Artemis Boatyard's chandlery in Lackey, which is well stocked and the staff are very helpful. They already had Spade anchors in the store and they gave us a discount because we'd be buying our new chain from them as well. We went for the galvanised model because the stainless one was very expensive. So we're just fitting our new Spade and it fits on the bow, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. It's pretty close to the bow, but it's probably 2 inches off. So I'm happy with that.
Next we needed to buy our new chain. We decided to just replace it rather than re-galvanise it, because the cost was almost the same. We again did lots of research to make sure we were buying chain with the correct strength and size for our boat, anchor and windlass gypsy. The Rocna website had good information on this, and there were also some good articles on Morgan's Cloud. We bought 10mm G40 DIN 766 galvanised chain to fit our windlass gypsy. Luckily Artemis Chandlery also had it in stock already, and we checked the specs and markings to confirm that it was genuine. We bought 80 metres, which is the most that would fit in our chain locker, and paid €7.80 per metre, totalling €624.
Getting new chain, woohoo!
It's exciting.
Be safe on the
Ours
water
is
this
very
year.
rusty.
Yeah.
The name of your boat?
Wishful thinking.
Excuse me?
Wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking. Oh, okay. And where are you from?
We're from Tasmania,
Oh, really?
in Australia, yeah.
Very long distance. Do
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
Very far, yes. Τι είδες Μαρκαδόρο?
Έχει πάνω του ο Παναγιώτης.
We got the chain back to the boatyard, nearly bottoming out the hire car's suspension on the way. We painted marks every 10 metres so we can easily count how much chain we have out when anchoring.
Just passed the anchor chain through the deck where the windlass is, and I'm about to attach it onto this section of road that we've got that's attached to the boat. I'm using a shackle, galvanised shackle, same as the chain. I'm going to use this seizing wire to make sure that the pin doesn't come out. I've got a bit of Loctite as well to put on.
We then raised the anchor to the bow to see how it would sit. The next decision was how to attach the anchor to the chain. Anchor swivels can break due to the pressure of sideways movement when the boat swings in changing wind. We tried using a galvanised shackle instead though, and it wouldn't fit easily through our bow roller. We also like the convenience of swivels because you can easily flip the anchor over if it comes up upside down. So we bought this swivel which has a hinge to allow for sideways movement, as well as the rotating swivel, and just keep an eye on it for any signs of damage. It's been great so far. Overall, we've been stoked with how the Spade has performed so far in a range of seabeds. It sets very quickly compared to our old Bruce, which often had to be dragged along before it would set. Although upgrading our anchor and chain was expensive, we felt that it's been money well spent to keep the boat and us safe in some of the very windy anchorages we've encountered this year so far, and gives us more confidence when leaving the boat for inland trips. We decided to keep our old anchor as a spare. Ryan sharpened the edges to make it more like a genuine Bruce. He also sprayed it with cold galvanising spray so that it would be clean for storage. We cut up our old chain and kept 30 metres as spare. While we were on the job, Ryan serviced our windlass. I then polished the hull. Chicho's stay with us had been extended to 2 weeks, and some of the other cats in the boatyard had started to get jealous and stake out our ladder, hoping to move in as well. We kept Chicho inside at night to try and stop him fighting with the other cats. The Greek fishing boat owners were finishing off their jobs and launching their boats.
When we bought the boat, we inherited an old water maker. It's a PUR 40E or PUR 40E, and they were bought out by Katadyn, and they still make this water maker. So we've looked up to see what resources are available and see if it's worthwhile actually trying to renew the water maker and purchasing a new membrane filter, which are really expensive. About $500 or something just for the filter. It seems that it could be worthwhile because they still make the parts for them. Before I buy any of those expensive parts, I will want to try and get it working. So I'm going to pull it out for the first time and put a new seal kit through it. The previous owner had. Hopefully they're still okay, but it's got gaskets and O-rings and things in there. So I want to put a new seal kit through it, clean it all up, all new hoses which won't be too expensive, check all the wiring, and then hopefully just do a bit of a test with it. This is the little locker where it's been installed, but there's a lot going on in here. There's a lot of hoses and some cables and things. What I normally do first is try and track all the hoses or wires, whatever they are, and try and figure out what each one is, and just make a diagram. It's like a good record of how things were so that I can reassemble in the right place. Salt water comes in, goes through a sea strainer. It gets used for 2 things. One of them's for the water maker and one of them's for the salt water tap. So it branches off, and then after it goes through a second filter, it then goes into the water maker and gets forced through that pump. About 10% of that water will come out as clean water. The rest of it goes out as waste, and that joins in. We've got a shower pump in this locker as well, which has an outlet hose, so it's thin tubing that's been used, and that goes either to the water tank, or you can turn that off and run the test and just pump water into a glass or something and just either do a water test on it and check the quality of it before you put it in your tanks. It's night time, but I'm watching the Gary Alber's video. He does a full video on disassembly and reassembly of the Katadyn or PUR water maker. I'm just working my way through and replacing seals, all the metal components, cleaning them all up the best that I can. I've inspected the membrane which is inside here, which does all the filtering of the seawater, and it looked pretty good. I've serviced that and put it back in so it doesn't dry out. It's worth leaving in there anyway to do a test. Just about to put the water maker back into its locker. The electric motor and gearbox, that's all been sanded back to remove any corrosion that was on there, and I've primed that with epoxy primer and then repainted it, put the stickers back on. All in this aluminium section here, all the seals have been replaced, and I put the membrane filter that was already in there, I've left that in there. All the electrical connectors were all good and it was all running.
We tested the water maker and it runs. So now we've ordered a new membrane and pressure release valve so we can hopefully start making some fresh water. We also installed a new water filter under the sink, which seemed like a simple job until we broke a tiny plastic part during the install and had to find a replacement on Leros. We got there in the end though. Meanwhile, work continued around the boatyard with the usual lack of safety procedures. Giorgio's launch day came around before ours, so we watched him head off. A nasty storm was forecast for our planned launch day, so we postponed for a few days and finished off some other jobs.
I'm just finishing installing a cockpit shower, which is not really in the cockpit, but it's going to be like a deck shower, I suppose. So when we have to swim, we can have a shower on the back deck. It's a flush fitting, and you have like this twist connection, which connects to and starts to flow water into the length of hose with your shower head.
I replaced the sealant around the lockers on our stern to try and stop them from leaking. We decided to put our sails back on while we were in the boatyard. This is usually a no-no because if the wind catches the sails, it can blow the boat off its stand, creating a domino effect with other boats. It was a calm day though, and we thought we may as well get it done while we waited to launch.
Water trucks coming this morning to fill up our water tanks. Found that our water lasts us a couple of weeks. So the emergency jerry cans as well will fill up. Should be enough water to get us to the next port and where we can fill up again. The water in the boatyard, it's a bit salty, so you can't drink it.
Next we inflated our dinghy. It was then sadly time to say goodbye to Chicho, as Tamara and Otto had arrived back from Athens. He was good company in the boatyard, so we were going to miss him. He was a pretty special cat, the way he could adapt to new environments so quickly. We'd see him again though when visiting Tamara and Otto's boat out on the water. We'd finally finished all of our boat jobs and were nearly ready to launch. We headed into town to get our transit log from customs and stock up on groceries.
7 o'clock at night, or nearly 7:30, and we've just done a big provisioning run. We're all ready to put the boat in the water tomorrow. Then we won't hopefully be going to many towns for a little while we make our way across the Cyclades. Emily's packing away all the stores we got from the shops.
And the reason why we bought so much stuff is because we have a hire car today, so we won't have to carry it.
A little Suzuki Swift, it wasn't, I don't know what was wrong with it, maybe the clutch or something.
Everything was wrong with it.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff wrong with it, but anyway, it got us there and back. Just done some engine checks ready for the morning. We're pretty happy with all the work we've done under the waterline, really happy. Looking forward to sleep tonight, but I don't know how well we're going to sleep because we're a bit nervous about launching tomorrow.
Yeah, been going since 8 o'clock this morning, running around, just finishing things off, and we thought it was going to be a really relaxing day because we're really organised, and then everything is just blown out. We've been to customs, we've been to the port police, been to the chandlery, done the washing, got the water tanks filled, bought all our food, all this stuff, but we're hoping then we get on the water tomorrow and we can just finally relax.
Yeah, that's it.
See? Next time we launch wishful thinking and hope for no leaks.